This is what I call my back tune-up. There's a million and one reasons that any of us get like back pain or any kind of just stiffness or issues, and I have some little places in my back that get sensitive from time to time. This one kind of feels like sacroiliac issue, but is it? I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor. So if you have specific back issues, please talk to a doctor or a physical therapist about how to help that, about exactly what's going on in your body. For me, what I know over a lot of years of doing different kinds of exercises is that, number one, yoga is the best thing. Incorporate it all the time. And two, sometimes my back needs a little tune-up and a little more of the strong stabilizing exercises. And if I incorporate these sort of Pilates and barre type of exercises into my week, I keep a happier back. And I've got sound quality is probably terrible for you, sorry. But Tina Turner does these meditations and chants, and she's got some different albums with those. This one's called Love Within. So we're checking out Tina Turner's meditation music. I'm not going to talk the most through this. I'm just going to kind of say what I'm doing as I go, because a lot of times if I'm having a little bit of a stiff back, I'm playing it by ear. I don't do exactly all the same things every time, but a lot of it is similar to how I would start off with a yoga class, but again, a little more of a strengthening challenge while still taking deep breaths all the way in and out through the nose, because I like to breathe like yoga. But I start down on the back. And, just take your time getting in and out of the floor, or choose to do some of these, from bed or something like that. But one of the best things to sort of start off with, especially if you can't hardly do anything, if your back is really, really in bad shape, or your hips, you can lie down on your back with your feet flat, and on your exhales, pull your belly really strong down towards your spine, and then let it go, opening back up. This helps me just feel different parts of the backs of my hips. And feel what's either moving well or not moving well in terms of my spine, my lumbar spine here. And the more you do these types of exercises or these types of practices, the more you kind of understand what you need to be doing, what you need to be trying to get out of them. So once I kind of wake everything up there, and I want to bring my legs in, not too tight, like I'm not trying to pull my low back up off the floor, really just trying to help the hips start to open up a little bit. And then I like to alternate heel extensions, one leg at a time. Opening up that front part of the hips. Several rounds like that. Bring it back in. From here, beginning to really. So one thing I do, especially if I'm working on my back, is I'll press my feet in and lift and really tuck my tailbone and then roll my spine back down. That's a good way to sort of help it open up. That's really gentle, as long as you have sort of the strength and stability to pick your hips up off the floor. And so from here, I would go ahead and start to get into some of the Pilates stuff. I'm not certified in Pilates, which is one reason I don't teach it. But I do personally use it. I'm also not a dancer. I've taken some adult beginner ballet and a little bit of like theater dance kind of stuff when I was younger, but it's not an area that I've consider myself to have a lot of expertise in, so it's super casual. But for Pilates, the 100 from mat Pilates, you pull your belly down, really scoop down through your core. And the simplest place to be is sort of pulling your back down, pointing your tailbone out, and having the legs just kind of gently lifted. You can opt to straighten the legs, and you have to really kind of push. And for an extra type of core challenge, you can angle the legs out. And then you're going to scoop the stomach and just round your head towards your legs and take these little tiny movements up and down 100 times. Relaxing the knees down, coming down. I like to give a little rock to the low back, and then take the legs out and the arms up overhead. Give a good stretch through those abs. Because that's one, there's not a lot of movement. It's really a hold, and it will get intense. It's, pretty good for your muscles. It's pretty good for that core strength and stability to really have to be strong sometimes. Hang in there. One thing for Pilates as well is that you point the foot, but not the toe. So toe points all the way out. I mean, if you have some kind of dancy needs, then point that toe. But you don't have to do it, and you get a little bit better extension through the leg if you'll point the foot, but not necessarily the toe. And so the next thing is these leg circles from the back from Pilates. I'm going to take my right leg up, and again, not trying to force it straight, because if your back is in really bad shape, forcing that leg straight is probably going to pull something that you don't want in a bad way. So if you can straighten the leg, then straighten it through, a nice point in the ball of the foot. You can leave the other leg down, or you can extend it out. And take in big circles. I'm going to do 8 in each direction. Always really pulling down towards the floor through the spine. That's what makes you stable enough to have all this extension and movement through the legs. So switching legs, again, pointing through that foot, letting both legs be kind of bent, or straightening the extended leg, or straightening both legs. 8 like barrel-sized circles. And then you come in, take a little rock on the back. My back sort of has learned over the years of different ways to wake up. So there's sensations that I have and things that I, understand what it means when this part of my back starts talking to me. But it took me a lot of years and a lot of repeatedly doing this stuff to kind of get enough awareness and understanding to really feel like I can get a lot done in a short time with these types of things. So the next thing is going back to the first leg for small circles, little tiny tight circles, 8 in each direction. Squeeze into that tissues behind the hips that are starting to wake up a little bit. Sometimes it feels like itching sensations. Sometimes it's warm or lots of different things to this. So from here, I'm going to come over to my side. And my back doesn't feel great today, so I'm going to stay down. I might, in a stronger day, like lift up to here. Somebody who's really, really strong for these could get up like this, but you really need to be able to stabilize underneath you if you want to lift up off the floor for these. My legs are at an angle, they're not really straight, and right now I have my feet flexed. Lift up the top leg about hip height, no higher, and just take some swings back and forth with a little pulse. Really using some of the momentum, kicking the couch behind me. It's okay, I don't have the range for really any further. And then turn it into a bicycle wheel. With those bicycle wheels in two directions, I let the leg rest. You can always take kind of your thumb and start to massage out some of this stuff in the glutes. But this stuff really needs to get strong and fired up to stabilize your hips and your back so that it can all feel good. And so these are, I'm actually going to come down to my t-shirt because once you do start firing up those areas of the body, you get warm pretty quickly. So coming back down, finding my angle that I want on my legs. And you could do this with the bottom leg bent. Again, if you're having to really push in a way that doesn't feel good to get the legs straight, then don't worry about it too much. But you do want to always have the belly pulled in, always have your tailbone pointing towards your heels. And these are some very Jane Fonda looking leg lifts. Again, 8 of everything, pointing and flexing the feet. And then we'll take big circles, starting out from hip height, 8 each direction, or sometimes I do 4, if I'm not feeling real strong. Giving it a little love with the knuckle. And then a round of small circles, extending all the way through the foot, Trying to let the circles extend the leg out from the socket. From here, making like a V shape, trying to tap in front and behind. And keep both legs lifted and swim the feet. Then we're going to roll over and push back like a child's pose. And walk the hands the opposite direction of that top hip that did such hard work. Let me give the body plenty of length there. And then you do all that again on the other side. This is just not as fun as yoga to me. If you like, I've told people before, like if you like to do reps, you would like Pilates. So it's really good for you. I don't love it the most. So again, getting situated, choosing whether you want to bend your legs a little bit or really keep them out straight. And then this top leg comes up hip height, and you're really trying to, I might hit the chair, but it'll be with my thigh, sling it up with a flexed foot and sling it back with a pointed foot. You really have to stabilize yourself through the stomach, and if this isn't safe for your back, then don't do it. Wheels. Rest. And again, you can just reduce the numbers, reduce everything down to 4 if you some of this is like a little bit of a stamina thing. If you want to work up from having not done any of these movements before, it's really a lot in the glutes and hips if you never do it. So then we have our leg lifts. We do 8 with a flexed foot and 8 with a pointed foot. Come here for. And a little knuckle. And so from here, some big circles, 8 each direction. So this bottom leg is working too. So the second hip is going to get tired more and feel a little more of that action. And just giving some of that warm, soft tissue a little knuckle love so it can release all of the places it's trying to be stiff and grab. So little circles, tiny little circles. that tailbone points down through the heels, making sure the belly is awake. We're going to take her up and take some taps. Swim. And then roll over to that child's pose. Pressing back. And I'm taking the arms over in the opposite direction from the hip that you were working on. And then we'll do, this is more, well, I guess a little combo. There's a little bit of yoga thrown in everything I do. But of course you'll recognize this as just your cat-cow. Really starting to open up the back now that I've got these hips nice and strong. I remember what I was thinking about doing. So I don't like to do a whole lot of seated work when my back is having any kind of issue. Just the compression can be a problem. But this is just a simple seated twist that can be real effective for low back stuff. So, you know, feel free to throw one of these in here. Take one leg just down, cross the other leg over it, plant the foot, and just make sure you're really long and tall when you wrap and twist. And what I'll do here is actually take this to an open twist and then back to this closed twist. So just uncrossing. And you do want to periodically give your back a twist of some sort of light, gentle twist that you just like. Anytime you're working on strengthening or flexibility or whatever you're doing in your back, periodically give it a rest and a twist, and it will thank you. Coming back to this open twist. And this is, if you were a lot of different issues and reasons why you might, need to do the open twist instead of the closed up twist. And then I also do feet together, fold over, knees to the sides. Just don't pull on your feet. Shake And so from here, this is why I have socks on, is because I'm doing a little bit of bar stuff. And am I going to be far enough? You can't see the whole part. So I'm just using the chair so that I have something for my hand. And so for this little bar work, it's like little ballet class exercises, but they're real good for your back. They really help. So you want to take your heels together in what is called first position. And I like to really keep my knees bent, really pull the belly in and point the tailbone down to get established in the feet, and make sure that I'm not trying to force my feet out further than they need to go. You know, we're not actually a ballerina in here, any of us. So, but you want then your posture to be really strong and tall, really scooping in your belly, tucking your tailbone, and then really lifting up through your chest. So maybe giving the shoulders a shrug or two here. And you have one hand lightly resting on something to help you, really pointing your tailbone down. And you want to take your other arm and sort of lift, extend, give it like a little roundness from your shoulder out and down. You want to imagine that a bead of water could roll from your shoulder all the way down. And I'm probably not doing it very correctly. That's why I'm not, a ballerina. Your hand is somewhere sort of in front of your belly button. But getting that posture, because this arm and shoulder does kind of support you when you start to do a few little tendus, which means that you're going to plant my left foot, so this is my left hand, and really push through my right toes forward and close. And take 3, and I come back to the middle. And give a little plie. Not very deep today, this back doesn't want it, maybe later, but then we come to the side. Into the back, and you might bring your arm forward there. And after that last one, we have the option of taking a grand plie, and you want your knees coming out over your feet, and you can come to your toes. Then lift all the way back out, reach the arm up, and we'll take a forward bend. And then I like to bend and reach back up. And we take the feet out to second position. Everything's the same, tailbone tuck, arm lifted into the shoulders, scooping up, lifting through the armpit. And all the same little movements. This was really hard for me for some reason to stabilize from. The same little tendus, pushing through. Socks are a little slidey on my floor. But you don't lift your heels from a second position. And from here, we're going to point the tailbone down and reach back. And come all the way back around. To bring this working leg forward into like a fourth position. It's spaced out. Again, just watching your feet, and there is a difference between ballet shoes and socks. Ballet shoes have a little bit of grippiness to them. So, if you're wearing socks, don't try to overcommit to too much of an angle in your feet. All the same, belly pulls in, tailbone points down, lifting through the arms. All the same, driving through that front toe for your little tendus. And then to come out to the side, we take it back and to the front and to the back again, so that we can press it back into a toe point. So this one has one of my favorite little after stretches. Just cross your arms and stretch both sides. And we can come to this fifth position if there's certain things, certain feelings that I get with my back soreness that I might decide not to do this one because it's the same thing as fourth position. It's just the feet closed up and it feels real tight in the hips sometimes to do. And I just do wavy things with my arms. If you want to learn ballet, go pay somebody to teach you. Not to be rude. Ooh. And then when we're done with one side, I like to just kind of march it out. And then I use the bookshelf for my other side. Hopefully it won't rattle around too much. I hope I'm a little more stable than that. So starting again, that little first position, pulling the belly in, pointing the tailbone down. And it's really all this work, pointing the tailbone down, that makes all the difference. Like while you do this work through the hips and legs. And some tendus. Butt is not as smart on this side with second position. I don't know what's so hard about it. Again, not a doctor or physical therapist. Like getting all the way out to the toe on, especially that side. Some good movement in the spine here. I'm getting a few little pops and shifts that I'm glad to have. wakes up different things in the abs too over time. And then one option if you're playing with these, little fifth position pieces, is you can see about lifting up to the toes. From one side and the other. And think about making a whole stretch really from the floor up. And your back will thank you. And then I like a nice quad stretch after. It's a good bit of quad work, so it's nice to let the hip flexors relax and release. And it's good for your knee to take a deep bend. If you can't bend your knee this far, you can use a strap or wrap a t-shirt around your foot, just hang it back here, but just let it hang down from somewhere so that this thigh bone can sink down away from the hip. That length and space matters for that healthy back. Take a wide leg forward bend. That's what I'm kind of feeling. And I'll twist from here as well. And if you've been to my yoga classes, you've done a wide leg fold with a twist before. Feeling your way out. And sometimes a little movement, a little rock, pulling the belly in, kind of rolling through the pelvis. You're just always really pulling the belly in and making the ab muscles be part of all of everything. Let's see. What I want to do from here is a little bit of pyramid pose and revolve triangle, which is a deep hamstring stretch, and then a deep twist. And again, you have done these if you've been to almost any of my yoga. Keep it pretty short and neat today. But this front knee needs to be relaxed. It needs to be able to bend. So if you need it to be just a bent knee stretch, you can, it's just a variation on a Warrior One. And I'm really pushing back on this left hip with my left hand. I'm trying to stretch my spine long out away from my hips. And then I can kind of relax down once I feel like it's let loose enough. Lift and lengthen out anytime. You can have a chair in front of you to support you if you're not in a place where you can lift yourself up and out easily. Plant my right hand and take my left arm up in a twist here, really pushing that left hip back. Lift and lengthen one more time. Hold just to do it. And then kind of scoot my tailbone to get myself back up and out and step. And I like to just kind of do these little knee bend, like hip dippy things. Sometimes I feel like I get like some space in my back and a lot of blood rushes through at once, and that just makes me feel like I want to distribute all that and make sure that everything is, opening up, settling in the right way. So I'll do my other leg. A little bit bigger step on that. That is some good stuff, I gotta say. So I'm going to work on a little bit of backward bending in locust pose from yoga. And so it's It can seem counterintuitive to do backward bending for what feels like low back pain or instability, but you can do these types of postures from a safe, stabilized place, like down on the floor with your belly down, and making sure you're working on lengthening the spine. You're good to go. So, making my way down. Going further with locust, take your hands some kind of way underneath the front of your hips. Nothing should feel injured or crushed by this, but you're getting like the length of your front of your arm down onto the floor to support your body. And some people can go really tall and do, real contortionist type of stuff with this, but I can't. I just extend my legs back and try to lift them as high as I can. Taking a little counter stretch. And so that's basically a back tune-up. I might do that on the same day that I take a long walk or ride horses, or it might be something that I do before or after yoga if I want to give like a really strong class, and I need to make sure that it's ready for that. Those are the kinds of reps I do. Thanks for watching.